Pakistani gangster Sukhdev Singh has been shot dead in Canada. The leader was killed in a gang war. He was on the NIA's wanted list. My colleague Pradeep and Rishabh are joining us on the broadcast. This is a significant update that's coming in amid the India and Canada diplomatic standoff that we are seeing. So we'll talk about the significance of that. But first up, to get a background on who Sukhdev Singh is, let's go across to my colleague Pradeep. Pradeep, this is extremely significant. There are several people from India who flee to Canada because they know that it's a safe haven from them. They can escape the law in India. Several cases pending against him. This is a man who fled in 2017 on a fake passport. Give us a background on who Sukhdev Singh is.
Yes, you are absolutely right. In fact, Sukhdev Singh is one of the criminals who wanted to escape law, and that's one of the reasons in 2017 on fake passport he went to Canada. And reason is obvious, because why all those Khalistani terrorists as well as the criminals, they are going to Canada. Reason being that Canada has become a safe haven and a shelter house for all these elements. And that's one of the reasons that we have seen that from time to time they keep on operating from there. And Niger was also one among them. He was a part of the Babbar Khalsa. He was also not a messiah of peace. And the same is the story about the Sukhdev Singh also, and he was killed in an inter-gang rivalry in Winnipeg area. That's what actually everybody knows, that right now the Khalistani movement is all about. It is basically the syndicate of criminals. They have come together and they take money, and for that money, the way we have the gangsters here in India also, the same thing they are doing right now while sitting in Canada. But unfortunately, that Trudeau government has turned a blind eye. Reason being that it is more about the vote bank politics, because when in 2019 Justin Trudeau came to power, his party, Liberal Party, got 157 seats. That means he was 13 seats short of majority, and that was the time when he joined hands with the National Democratic Party of Jagmeet Singh Dhaliwal. And because of that, and Jagmeet Singh Dhaliwal, everybody knows that he is the promoter of and supporter of the Khalistani activities. And when you join hands with the Khalistani terrorists, obviously you will be siding with them. And that's one of the reasons that in case of Niger also he jumped the gun. But now question arises, in case of Sukhdev also, is he going to blame India? Because today you see the situation of Justin Trudeau. He was not able to answer the questions being asked by the media person in the United States of America. He is seen running away from those cameras. If he really has got the evidence, why he is not producing that evidence against India? But the reason is that he himself said that investigation in case of Niger is still on. When investigation is on, how come you preempt things that and blame India for? Basically, this is nothing but an appeasement politics that he is trying to follow, because he knows the elections are around the corner. Again, he will need help of all those Khalistani elements, but he's not realizing that these terrorists are nothing but they are facts and monster, and they are going to create trouble for Canada, because Canada is going Pakistan way. Look, when I say Canada is going Pakistan way, both the countries, they had been the safe haven for the terror-related elements. Canada for the Khalistani and the Pakistani terrorists, and also Pakistan is also again safe haven for the jihadi activities as well as the Khalistani terrorists. Then they are both in the denial mode. Then they deny that we are not providing the safe shelter to all these anti-India elements. And the third thing is then they go for the diversionary tactics. The way the Pakistan always try to play a victim card and blame India for whatever is happening in Pakistan, the same thing the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is trying to do. He is also trying to shift blame on India. But that is not really going to work. That's one of the reasons that Trudeau right now is completely isolated. He tried to call UK Prime Minister also, but he didn't succeed, because you know what? The world sees, because world have already joined hand when the G20, for the G20 meeting, they came out to this place. All of them decided that they have to fight against terror. So terror in any form cannot be supported, whether it's a Khalistani terror where you continue with your appeasement politics. Nobody is going to support that. That's one of the reasons that today Trudeau is seen running away from the cameras, because he has nothing.
He has been isolated internationally. And very interesting, you mentioned that comparison with Pakistan. You can't keep snakes in your backyard and expect them to bite whoever you want. Eventually, it's going to turn on those who are harboring them. This is a statement that was used for Pakistan, but seems applicable in Canada as well. Now looking at what the situation is, Bhavtosh is also joining us on the broadcast, but I want to go across to Rishabh first. Rishabh, the truth is Justin Trudeau did not have the credible information at hand. He said Canada is investigating the role of India when it came to Niger, and look at this. Look at what's happening in Canada. These are people who escaped law in India and are at killing each other on Canadian soil now.
Well, definitely, the way the Canadian Prime Minister made that statement alleged, accused, looks like credible allegations. But if the investigation is ongoing, which country in the world, expel a diplomat on an ongoing investigation? The investigations were not yet completed. This is what even the Prime Minister told the Parliament in Canada. But the way even the opposition in Canada has now been asking, where is the proof? You have called out India in the Parliament without proof. Allegations anyone can make, but when you are talking country to country, there should be proof, and there is no such proof that has been furnished by Canada to even their Indian counterparts. And that is something that is now putting Justin Trudeau on a back foot. He expected that the G7 countries, the Five Eyes countries will stand by Canada and issue a joint statement against India. That did not happen. The statements that have come in from, be it UK, be it USA, be it Australia, it's more of not enraging India as well as Canada. It's a very neutral statement coming in from these countries, and that is something that has left Canada isolated. And then India started its diplomatic coup in Canada. First, the dismissal of the statement came in, a very strongly worded dismissal. Then a Canadian diplomat was expelled from here in a tit-for-tat situation. And then came that advisory yesterday, a rather strong advisory which mentioned that Indians need to be careful against the politically condoned hate crimes, and that was something that didn't go well with Canada, which came out to reporters. The public safety minister came out to reporters and said Canada is a safe country. But the same day, the Indian diaspora wrote to the same minister saying that please put all these threats under the category of hate crime. So definitely, Canada right now is on a wrong wicket and not in a position where it can tackle the way India has created the pressure, tightened the news, not only with the Canadian government, but also against the gangsters who are wanted here in India.
Absolutely. Justin Trudeau risks worsening ties with India only for vote bank, and look where it has got Canada. Bhartosh, this is not the only gangster, previously Khalistan supporters as well, who are finding Canada to be a safe haven. NIA has released a long list of people who have fled India and are trying to, of course, instill violence in the country, but no action being taken against them in Canada.
Yes, Pratibha, in fact, our relations with Canada have never been, in fact, very good. Right from the time when the Air India Kanishka bombing happened, India has been demanding that Khalistani terrorists should be extradited or deported. But coming back to what had happened recently, briefly, I will explain. It was in 2018 that for the first time, Captain Amrinder Singh, then Punjab Chief Minister, had handed over a list of 18 terrorists and gangsters who were hiding in Canada. Trudeau turned a blind eye. What has happened in Canada in past few months, or one can say 1 year, is that these gangsters and terrorists who have established bases in Canada, they are settling scores among themselves, and it's time for introspection for Canada, because these kinds of gang wars are not very common there, and they are now settling scores with each other. They in fact had done so in India. They did when they were abroad in other countries, and now they are doing so in Canada. For Canada to blame Indian agencies is very easy, but no cogent evidence was given by Trudeau. As far as Sukhdev Singh is concerned, he was in fact a very close associate of Arshdeep Dhalla. He wanted to establish a base not only for gangsters but also for terrorists, and over a period he was providing logistical support as well as financial support to gangsters not only in Canada but also to terror outfits who are active in Punjab. He's in fact, there was a statement yesterday released by NIA seeking details of his properties, his family members, and that of his friends. So Indian agencies were actively pursuing against him. The fact that he has been shot dead in Winnipeg clearly shows that he was hiding there. There was some kind of, the authorities had turned a blind eye, and that was happening in Canada. It is an inter-gang rivalry. One has to wait and see how Canada responds on this, how Winnipeg police authorities respond to it. So far, no statement has been issued by anyone in Canada, including the local police.
Absolutely. So it will be interesting to see what Canada says on this, the statement that is issued by Canada. It's also important to mention that these are groups that want to own the Khalistan movement only for the sake of money. Do stay on with us. This remains a top focus here on Times Now.